औज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम अस्सलामु अलैकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू. The topic under discussion now is Chaucer's art of characterization. First of all, it should be clear what characterization is. Characterization is the process by which the writer reveals the personality of a character. The writer has two options by which he reveals the personality of his character. तो फर्स्ट लाइन जो है ये यहाँ से यहाँ तक इसको ये इसकी डेफिनेशन है characterization की. We can define characterization as characterization is the process by which the writer reveals the personality of a character. Then, how many options the writer has to reveal his characters? There are two options with him. First one is direct characterization, which tells the audience what the personality of a character is. And the second one is indirect characterization, that shows things that reveal the personality of a character. Indirect characterization can be done through speech, thoughts, actions, effects of characters on others, and looks. Here we have two things. One is direct characterization and the second is indirect characterization. These are two different approaches to reveal characters on the part of a writer. So one thing is very important here. It should be kept in mind that characterization bears the same relation to plot as architecture to the bricks and mortar, and though a story which in inferior hands would be crude and improbable becomes real and lifelike. We have studied the greatest writers like Pope, Shakespeare, Milton, and Fielding, who were perfect in painting their characters. Chaucer is also one of them. He has won worldwide acclaim only because of his art of characterization. Let's discuss major qualities of Chaucer's art of characterization. First of all, what characterization is, then two types of characterization, then importance of characterization, now major qualities of characterization on the part of Chaucer. First major quality of Chaucer's art of characterization is realism. So far as realism is concerned, he is the first great observer and the first great painter of the characters in the English literature. In fact, next to Shakespeare, he is the greatest in this field. He always describes his character as if his eyes had been focusing and noticing every minute details of his character, but he does all this in a casual and haphazard manner. That's why some critics find in his casualness an art which conceals art. The portrayal of his characters is a real picture gallery in which 29 portraits are hanging on the wall showing all their details and specifications. No doubt, this is very important. No doubt, Chaucer has the seeing eye, the retentive memory, the judgment to select, and the ability to expound. He very realistically portrays the friar. He advises the sinners. He here stands for the friar. He advises the sinners not to offer prayers or weep to purgate of their sins. Rather, he calls for high amount of money from his sinners to absolve of their sins. These are the words that Chaucer has used for the friar. Full sweetly heard he confession, and pleasant was his absolution. He was an easy man to you penance, as he traced to have a good pittance. So far as the summer is concerned, तो रियलिटी का जहाँ तक चौसर के कैरेक्टराइजेशन से ताल्लुक है, तो चौसर ने बहुत रियलिस्टिकली तमाम तर कैरेक्टर्स जो कि इस प्रोलॉग में पाए जाते हैं, एंड इट शुड बी क्लियर कि उसने जो हाईएस्ट क्लास जिसको हम कहते हैं, जिसमें के रूलर्स हैं, उनको उसने नहीं बयान किया, और जो लोएस्ट क्लास है उनको भी छोड़ दिया है. और यहाँ पे जो क्लासेस उसने डिस्कस की हुई हैं वो हमारे पास कॉमनर्स हैं, that are found even today. So far as the summoner is concerned, the summoner arrests those accused of violating church law. When drunk, he ostentatiously spouts the few Latin phrases he knows. His face is bright red. from an unspecified disease. He uses his power corruptly for his own gain. However, these people, these churchmen exploiting the people, Chaucer has realistically portrayed all his sins and all the vices. He is extremely lecherous and uses his position to dominate the young women in his jurisdiction. In exchange for a quart of wine, he would let another man sleep with his girlfriend for a year and then pardon the man completely. These are the reality, these are the things that are quite real to that age. Chaucer has brought before us every character quite realistically. और reality जो है, realism जो है, realism is an approach. This is philosophy, this is approach, this is, you can say, a way. This is the angle that a writer strikes. He brings forth before the readers or his listeners or before his audience the things that are quite close to reality. We can say not a single character has escaped Chaucer. Second quality that is attached to Chaucer is humor, which makes his characterization prominent and distinguished. Chaucer is a born humorist. In the prologue to the Canterbury Tales, first he talks of the bravery, skill, experience, and grandeur of the knight. But later on, he tells that the knight is very gentle in his behavior and harmless to anybody. And of his sport, as meek as is a maid. These are the words that Chaucer has used for the knight. We have read these lines in the prologue to the Canterbury Tales. He describes physical appearance of Reeve humorously in the following words: full long were his legs and full lean. He like a staff. There was no cafe scene. The third quality of Chaucer's art of characterization is his use of irony and satire. No doubt, most of the humor is based on comic touches, but there are some characters that have touches of irony and satire. But he never tries to be sharp and bitter in his attitude. तो यहाँ ये बात ध्यान में रखना बहुत ज़रूरी है कि चौसर ने आयरॉनिकली और सटायर से काम लेते हुए अपने कैरेक्टर्स को एक्सपोज तो किया है, लेकिन उसका यहाँ पर शार्प और बिटर एटीट्यूड नहीं है. तो वो जो कैरेक्टर्स को पेश कर रहा है उसके हवाले से ये बात बहुत ज़रूरी है ध्यान में रखना कि इवन कैरेक्टर्स जो हैं उनको भी पता हो कि उनके बारे में ये बातें की जा रही हैं, तो वो बुरा महसूस नहीं करेंगे. This is Chaucer's style. Almost all the ecclesiastical characters except the person are presented in a mocking style. So far as the dress is concerned, तो यहाँ पर जो है ड्रेस उसने जो बयान किया है वो उसका her dress, fashionable manners, pretensions and vanities have been conveyed ironically. This is about the wife of Bath and her ecclesiastical character that Chaucer brought before us. तो उसके हवाले से ये है कि pretentious prioress है. This is prioress. Here is prioress dress. She is fashionable or pretentious है वो. And secondly, she was a great despot and full pleasant and amiable of port and paint her to counterfeit cheer of court and to be established of manner. ये उस दौर की लैंग्वेज है जो चौसर ने ओरिजिनल वर्ड्स यूज किए हैं, ये टेक्स्ट में हमने पढ़े हैं. तो वो बड़ी जो है प्रिटेंशियस किस्म की है प्रायरस, उसका उसने खूब मजाक उड़ाया. और ये सब उसने क्या किया, यहाँ पे जो उसने टच दिया है वो किसका है, ह्यूमर का और सेटायर का और आयरनी का. उसके बाद है नेक्स्ट जो सिमिलरली the doctor loves gold, especially for gold in medicine is a cordial. The shipman has been called a good fellow, but actually he is a rascal. Thus, we can say that Chaucer uses irony and humor as tools to disclose the absurdities and hypocrisy of the characters. तो चौसर ने क्या किया है कि आयरनी और ह्यूमर को और सटायर को यूज किया है. तो मकसद उसका क्या है, अगर उस ये पूछा जाए कि why has he used all these tools, तो उसमें मकसद यही है he wanted to disclose the absurdities and the hypocrisy of the characters that he was going to expose or that he was going to portray. The summoner and pardoner who travel together are the most corrupt and debased of all the pilgrims. They are not members of holy orders, but rather lay officers of the church. Neither believes in what he does for the church. Instead, they both pervert their functions for their own gain and the corruption of others. The summoner is a lecher and a drunk, always looking for a bribe. His diseased face suggests a diseased soul. This is very important. His diseased face suggests a diseased soul. The partner is a more complicated figure. He sings beautifully in church and has a talent for beguiling his somewhat horrified audience. And has a talent for beguiling his somewhat horrified audience. This is also very important. So far as the miller is concerned, the miller seems more demonic than Christian, with his violent and brutal habits, his mouth like a furnace, the angry red hairs sprouting from his wart, and his black nostrils. His golden thumb alludes to his practice of cheating his customers. This is also very important line. His golden thumb alludes to his practice of cheating his customers. The miller can easily cheat his customers. The narrator ironically upholds the municipal as a model of a good steward. The municipal's employers are all liars. This is also very important thing, that the municipal's employers are all liars, and the liars are trained to help others to live within their means, but the municipal is even shrewder than they are. And here one thing is very important, that Chaucer has portrayed the characters of liars, that they are shrewd, but this municipal is shrewder than the liars. The thief is depicted as a very skilled thief, one who can fool his own auditors and who knows all the tricks of managers, servants, herdsmen, and millers, because he is dishonest himself. Worst of all, he enjoys his master's thanks for lending his master the things he has stolen from him. This line is also very important. Okay, first of all, he enjoys his master's thanks for lending his master the things he has stolen from his wealth. Then the description of shipman and the physician are both barbed with keenly satiric turns of phrase implying dishonesty and avarice. The shipman's theft of wine is slipped in among descriptions of his professional skills, and his brutality in battle is briefly noted in the midst of his other nautical achievements. Who is the narrator here? This is Chaucer. This is not Chaucer. This is not the Chaucer. This is, you can say, the narrator who is narrating stories. And what comes to your mind? This is very important. Is it that narrator who was telling stories? Different stories occur, and we even have to, we will study different stories. And one of them is the nun's priest's tale. Who is this narrator? You shouldn't worry about that. This narrator is the same narrator. The prologue to the Canterbury Tales narrator is Chaucer himself. This narrator is the Chaucer himself. So you shouldn't be worried, or you shouldn't be beguiled by this word. The narrator gives an impressive catalogue of the physician's learning, but then interjects the startling comments that he neglects the Bible, implying that his care for the body comes at the expense of the soul. This doctor is not concerned with Bible. This doctor is not concerned with spiritual values. This doctor is hankering after wealth. This physician wants to get money. This physician is going with pilgrims just for the sake of his own opinion and his own view. that he would help someone who may fall ill during the journey. That's why he is least concerned with religion, implying that his care for the body comes at the expense of the soul. Moreover, the narrator's remarks about the doctor's love of God suggest that he is out to make money rather than to help others. This is very important. Fourth quality of Chaucer's art of characterization is his minute study of human psychology and his mastery over it. This is also very important. You know, if we want to reveal others, we should be able to go deep into the psychology of others. We should be able to read what is in the mind of others. We should be able to know and guess from the words that those people use during their own comments. तो यहाँ पे ये बात बहुत ज़रूरी है. आप ध्यान में रखिए कि राइटर ने जो है यहाँ पर कैरेक्टराइजेशन में चौसर ने पर्टिकुलरली, दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, कि चौसर क्या करता है. चौसर ने कैरेक्टर्स को अगर रिवील किया है तो उसकी वो मिन्यूट स्टडी ऑफ कैरेक्टर्स उसमें पाई जाती है. अगर वो मिन्यूटली अपने कैरेक्टर्स की साइकी को ना समझ सकता होता, उससे वो उनको रिवील नहीं कर सकता था. He is able to expose a character through his dialogues, through the dialogues of that character. His characters have relation with all the ages and climes. Even in this age, we meet these characters with few changes. These changes are in the names and titles, but his characters are same with same feelings forever and ever. A critic remarks Chaucer is a modern among the medieval and medieval among the moderns. So far as the host is concerned, the host shows himself to be a shrewd businessman. Once he has taken the pilgrims' money for their dinners, he takes their minds away from what they have just spent by flattering them, complimenting them for their mirth. Equally quickly, he changes the focus of the pilgrims. Although, so far as the wife of Bath is concerned, so far as this wife of Bath is concerned, so although this wife of Bath is argumentative and enjoys talking, the wife is intelligent in common sense rather than intellectual way. Through her experiences with her husbands, she has learned how to provide for herself in a world where women had little independence or power. This is also a very important thing, that during Chaucer's time, the women were not given proper status. They were not allotted independence and power. They did not enjoy any independence and power. But this lady is able to enjoy independence and power. She is intelligent in a common sense rather than intellectual. तो यहाँ पे उसने वाइफ ऑफ बाथ जो है उसके जरिए ह्यूमन साइकोलॉजी जो है उसको एक्सपोज किया है. The thief man, the chief manner in which she has gained control over her husbands has been in her control over their use of her body. The wife uses her body as a bargaining tool with the holding sexual player until her husbands give her what she demands. This is Chaucer's minute study of human psychology, that he exposes different characters through their dialogues, through their habits, through their different gestures, and through their dressing, and through their, you can say, different reactions and responses. Fifth quality of Chaucer's art of characterization is the distinctness. This is very important thing, which he gives to all of his characters. No character has resemblance. Distinctness means that no character has resemblance with any other character depicted in the book. All the characters are different from the other characters. For example, the miller, the reeve, and the cook exhibit coarseness, yet they are different from each other in their vulgarity, and even the corrupt members of the church, including the summoner, the pardoner, the friar, and the monk, are different from one another in their corruption, and in this way, they maintain their individuality. The sixth major quality of Chaucer's art of characterization is the depiction of balanced characters. You can never observe exaggeration in the presentation of these characters. Chaucer's knight is a worthy man, but not free of shortcomings. One of the major flaws in his personality is that he neglects his own son, who, unlike his father, is the representative of the degenerated and deteriorated ideals of chivalry. Seventh major quality of Chaucer's art of characterization is that he is away from superficiality. This is very important. This is close to reality, that he is real. He is not dealing and exposing his characters who are not really found in his society. His characters are belonging to his age. His characters are real characters. He does not depict his characters with supernatural or superhuman qualities. That's why even his ideal characters, ये ideals नहीं, his ideal characters are not far from reality. The knight and the parson closely resemble the characters of the real world. Dryden also says Chaucer's characters are still remaining in mankind and even in England, though they are called by other names. So far as the conclusion of this question is concerned, so we can conclude all these things and the total discussion in these lines. To sum up, we can say without any hesitation and fear of contradiction that like Pope, Shakespeare, and Milton, Chaucer is the master in the portrayal of his characters, and above all, he is a realist and delineates his characters as he sees them. It would be just to say that never before in English literature had there been anything like this company of real, unidealized contemporary men and women, and there was to be nothing comparable again until Shakespeare began to write 200 years later. तो ये क्वेश्चन था जो चौसर्स आर्ट ऑफ कैरेक्टराइजेशन के हवाले से है. अगर आप लोगों से ये सवाल पूछा जाए कि explain or illustrate Chaucer's art of characterization, or it might be okay, what are the major qualities of Chaucer's art of characterization, what is the role of Chaucer's different qualities or different features, different characteristics attached to his art of characterization. So you have to write all these things. अगर इनमें से अगर सेपरेटली आपसे जो है शॉर्ट आंसर की सूरत में पूछा जाए कि जी हाउ फार रियलिज्म इज इन्वॉल्व्ड इन चॉसर्स आर्ट ऑफ कैरेक्टराइजेशन, तो यू विल हैव टू रिस्ट्रिक्ट योरसेल्फ टू दैट पॉइंट ओनली. तो इन पॉइंट्स को ही आपने लर्न करना है. थैंक यू सो मच. थैंक यू. अल्लाह हाफिज.